It has been a long journey, but I have finally arrived. As far as the eye can see, all is lush and green, with warm sunlight and air almost overly scented by flowers. At first it seems to be simply wetland, but walking into the foliage, it becomes apparent plants have grown to create separate areas or outdoor rooms where pools have formed. Each pool filled with water plants, including lotuses. And in the center of each pool is one grand lotus supporting a deity. In one is Ganesha, radiant in golden toned skin, playing with his rat companion. In another, green Tara hums and the leaves dance in response. Another room contains Black Buddha, whose limbs swallow the light and yet emit energy and welcome. Shiva sits with all three of his eyes closed, dreaming the world. Red Tara fashions her arrows from the blossoms which bend to her hand, and vibrates her will into being with her breath. Room after room, pool after pool, deities sit on their lotus platforms manifesting themselves and the world. Acres of divinity growing and being and becoming so their breath becomes like the hum of honeybees in a clover field in summer. I am drawn unerringly to the one pool I both dread and yearn for. Drawing near, the lush plants screen it from view, but I can hear sounds. My mind whirls for a moment, trying to label them as the clashing of armies in battle, or of an ecstatic crowd celebrating, or a wedding party, or the moments after a disaster. But none and all of these are correct, and the effort is maddening. I shake my head to try and clear it, then push forward. On the other side of the vegetation wall is a pool, and in the center, a lotus. On this lotus is Kali Ma. Her presence beats at my senses, threatening to overwhelm them. She is more here than I have ever felt myself to be. The sounds seem to grow louder as I approach, and yet are no more clear or defined. Stopping at the edge of the pool, my every survival instinct is screaming for me to leave, or if not that, then kneel, bow my head, look down. But in the next instant, I am rooted in place and can't move or tear my eyes away. Kali Ma's head turns, and her eyes lose their faraway gaze, focusing on me. For one long breath, she stares, and it feels as if time has stopped. All time is imploding within me at once, yet there is no time. Then she turns and stands up. Like a symphony conductor, her moving signals changes all around her. All sounds drop away, leaving only breeze moving in the leaves. Time begins to flow normally again, moving from the now into the past and rippling outwards into the future. longer frozen in place, but connected. I am at once an instrument being played, a student being instructed, and a caterpillar voluntarily entering the cocoon they have called into being, knowing transformation will occur, but not into what. Kali Ma positions her upper right hand in the Abhaya Mudra. My mind knows this confers complete fearlessness, the means of navigating this difficult world with her support, and a means of destroying negative external influences. But these are just concepts and words. What I feel is her waiting for me to choose whether I will raise my own right hand into this position. Taking a deep breath, I do, and in that moment, I feel myself tasked with understanding and unwinding personal problems. Holding my hand in this mudra, I feel this task become part of me, while at the same time I am infused with her protection, and I know she will be with me as I carry it out. Kali Ma positions her lower right hand in the Virata Mudra. My mind knows this is a blessing granting wishes and favors to those who ask, transmitting essential wellness, security, and peace to all who approach. I feel her waiting for me to choose whether I will move my own right hand into this position. Taking a breath, I do. And in that moment, I feel her open a way for the gifts she feels I need to be provided. I know to my depths, these gifts will always be right and yet rarely what I desire. Kali Ma positions her upper left hand, which is holding the sword of wisdom, the separation which unifies. My mind scrambles to control my desire to flee this fearsome, all-loving being who has raised a sword to strike. Thoughts bolt through me like electricity, of how the sword is non-dual wisdom and represents spiritual growth. It's the means by which she helps purify human nature and provides a swift end to suffering and imposition. Its touch destroys internal impediments and causes the internal realizations of self to actualize into the world. I feel her waiting for me to calm and choose if I will raise my own left hand. Taking a shaking breath, I do. And instantly I feel the weight of a sword in my hand. I'm struck by its energy, which allows for no complacency or compromise. I am now a wielder of wisdom which separates illusion from truth and cuts through harmful beliefs and misconceptions. I feel myself vibrate with purpose. Kali Ma positions her lower left hand, which is holding a severed human head by its hair. It swings lifeless and yet radiates its moment of change. It is the demise of ignorance. While my mind denies my senses and tries to understand what is happening, I know instinctively what this means. The head is a door, and I'm being offered the option to walk through it. If I do, I will be different, although I don't comprehend how. I want to remove my ignorance, to truly know and understand. It is, after all, what I've come here for. I feel her waiting for me to choose if I will move my left hand into position. I ground myself into my feet, try to shift my shoulders back, and move my left hand down to grasp ahead. Light with no colors and sound without notes explode out of me like flocks of birds startled into flight. I feel as if I'm being disassembled and reassembled into a different configuration. My free will remains, but I am infused with her merciless energy, which roots out ignorance, the causes of imperfections, mistakes, and self-sabotage. She is the darkness which swallows my shadow and turns it into light. My awareness returns, and nothing but everything has changed. I'm still standing with mudras echoing from my right hand, the sword a persistent memory in my left. But now my left hand is marked with the image of a severed human head in the palm. The mark fades even as I look. A small motion brings my eyes back to the goddess, and I'm pinned by the gaze of her third eye. It is fully open and looking directly at me. My mind knows it's supposed to be a door into non-dual truth, but I don't see anything but an eye. What I feel is a pressure at my forehead as if my third eye is responding to her attention. I feel her waiting for me to choose whether or not to acknowledge her gaze. Feeling both less and more grounded than I have ever done, I let myself soften and my third eye gently opens. All around me, colors shift and change, showing me a dual image of what I think is there, as well as what is truly there. I've realized my eye will show me how to overcome my own old behaviors, mistaken narratives, and desires to have things be other than they are. I know now my eye will become a light by which I can find and navigate my path to spiritual awakening. Kali Ma flicks her tongue, and my gaze is drawn to its length and the blood which drips to the ground. I should feel frightened, but with my new gaze, I become fully aware this blood is the negativity of the demons which bedevil us. She neutralizes the evil by consuming it. She turns this energy into akasha, life force energy, and potential. She unfurls her tongue in her zest for living and creating. Feeling her hot breath, I know she is waiting for me to choose. I draw in a deep breath, open my mouth wide, and together we roar, "Yes!" The ground shakes with the power of our beingness, and then it is still once more. I feel my mouth fill with all I have yet to say and be. My mind begins to run with plans and options and awareness of possibilities. Then a tremor snaps me back to the moment as Kali Ma lifts one foot. The bottom of it is stained red. I'm startled by the visceral sense of this being from all the bodies she has trampled, all the evil she has razed to the ground. all of the old she has ground into powder to make space for the new. My heart pounds as I once again feel how very present she is. Both deity, which births all universal truths into being, and chaotic force of life, which creates and destroys in the physical world. She is not above life. She is of and in it. I can feel her waiting for me to choose whether I will raise my foot or not. I do, and I'm rooted in physical existence, interconnected with every living thing. I feel myself becoming part of the foundation of divine reality. Then a vision overtakes me. From the frowning forehead of Durga issued the awesome goddess Kali, armed with a sword and a noose, holding a skull-topped staff, skull garlanded, wrapped in a tiger skin, emaciated, wide-mouthed, lolling-tongued, with deep sunken red eyes. Kali filled the skies with her roar. Laughing terribly, she devoured the demon army, flinging the elephants into her mouth along with their riders, crunching up chariots and horses with her teeth, crushing others with her feet, striking with her sword and beating with her staff until the army was laid low. The great demon Kanda unleashed a hail of arrows, and Munda hurled discuses by the thousands, hiding the fierce Devi until they vanished into her mouth. At this, Kali, roaring frightfully, her sharp teeth gleaming, laughed with intense rage. Mounting her great lion, she rushed at Kanda and, seizing him by the hair, severed his head with her sword. Seeing Kanda cut down, Munda next rushed towards her. She felled him to the ground, striking with her sword in fury. With the brave Kanda and Munda fallen, the rest of the army fled in all directions. The mighty demon Raktabiha remained. From the blood shed from his wounds sprang thousands of fresh combatants, representing the destructive masculine principle. To annihilate this archetypal power, Kali again and again drank this seed blood, thereby taking possession of and rendering harmless this overpowering destructive element, this phallic power. Once it's all done, and she stands victorious on the battlefield, she turns her blood-spattered gaze to look directly at me and says, "The rest is up to you." Like in a dream, I find myself on the other side of the plant wall, walking away from the lotus pools without feeling any transition or elapsed time. But I am forever changed. I'm filled with the exquisite ability to embrace all the yes life has to offer, and the responsibility of being the no, which will allow me to achieve it.